For decades, the Gulf nations, especially Saudi Arabia, were seen as the world's oil giants, energy suppliers in exchange for U.S. security. This relationship defined not only the region's economic trajectory, but also its place in the global order. The Gulf's vast oil reserves powered industries worldwide, while American military protection offered stability in a turbulent neighborhood. This oil for security pact shaped the Middle East and anchored the U.S. dollar's global dominance. The petrodollar system became a cornerstone of international finance, linking Gulf prosperity to Western economies and reinforcing the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. But today, the Gulf is transforming. The region is undergoing a profound shift, driven by new ambitions and changing global dynamics. These countries are no longer content to be just oil exporters. They are investing in education, infrastructure, and innovation, seeking to build knowledge-based economies for the future. Ambitious projects like Saudi Vision 2030 aim to diversify economies, embrace technology, and turn the region into a global hub for finance and tourism. Cities like Dubai and Riyadh are reinventing themselves as centers for culture, business, and international events. The Gulf is forging new ties with emerging powers, especially the BRICS bloc, while maintaining its U.S. partnership. This balancing act is reshaping alliances and opening up fresh opportunities for trade and investment. The old certainties are gone. A more complex, multi-directional foreign policy is taking shape. Gulf states are now engaging with a wider range of partners, reflecting a world that is less predictable and more interconnected. This shift is part of a broader global trend. The world is moving from U.S. dominance to a multipolar order. Power is being redistributed and new centers of influence are emerging across continents. The Gulf is now an active player, shaping this new reality, not just reacting to it. Its leaders are making strategic decisions that will reverberate far beyond their borders. The choices made in Riyadh, Doha, and Abu Dhabi will impact global energy, finance, and security. Their influence is growing and the world is watching closely. The Gulf is no longer just a background player. It's helping design the architecture of the 21st century world, setting the stage for a new era of global cooperation and competition. To understand the Gulf's new direction, you need to know BRICS. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, started as an investment label but has become a powerful bloc challenging Western-dominated institutions. BRICS members want more influence in global affairs, and have created their own bank, the New Development Bank, to fund projects outside the Western system. They're pushing for more trade in local currencies, reducing reliance on the U.S. dollar. For Gulf states, BRICS offers access to huge markets and a seat at the table with rising powers. Aligning with BRICS isn't about abandoning the West, it's about diversifying options and increasing leverage. The Gulf is hedging its bets, seeking new partners while keeping old ones. The Gulf's pivot to BRICS is backed by massive deals, not just talk. At the 2025 BRICS Summit, the UAE's Abu Dhabi Investment Group and Brazil's Banco do Brasil launched a $100 billion joint fund for development across BRICS nations. This signals Gulf capital flowing into a BRICS-led financial system, independent of the West. Trade between Saudi Arabia and China is booming, with Chinese firms building key Vision 2030 projects. The Gulf is also opening up to foreign investment. Saudi Arabia now allows non-Saudis to own real estate, attracting BRICS investors. These moves show a strategic shift. The Gulf is building new economic alliances that reshape global power. The region is no longer just a customer. It's becoming a co-creator of the new financial order. With the Gulf's growing BRICS ties and increasing discussions about trading in local currencies, is the region truly moving away from the US dollar? Not quite. The Gulf is experimenting with de-dollarization at the margins. Some oil sales to China are now conducted in yuan, and some investments are being made in local currencies. This strategy helps reduce exposure to US sanctions and the impacts of US monetary policy, but the dollar remains dominant in global trade and finance. The global financial system is still fundamentally built around the dollar, and Gulf currencies like the Saudi Riyal are pegged to it, ensuring stability. Shifting away from the dollar would be risky and complex, involving significant economic and political challenges. Recent U.S. deals, like the $1 trillion investment agreement signed in 2025, are explicitly dollar-denominated, reinforcing the dollar's central role in these transactions. The Gulf nations are seeking more options. But the dollar's supremacy isn't ending anytime soon. The region is hedging its bets, not completely abandoning the dollar. This approach provides a safety net while exploring new opportunities. The petrodollar system is evolving, adapting to new economic realities, but it is not collapsing. The Gulf strategy is about flexibility, using multiple currencies to maximize economic advantage and reduce risks. The US dollar's deep roots in the global economy make it hard to displace, but the Gulf is preparing for a more multipolar currency world. The dollar will remain king for the foreseeable future, but its reign is no longer unchallenged as other currencies gain traction. The Gulf's moves are a clear warning. The era of dollar exclusivity is gradually fading, signaling a shift towards a more diversified currency landscape. Despite the Gulf's new ties with BRICS, the U.S. partnership remains vital. Security is the foundation. The U.S. military presence provides a protective umbrella no other power can match. BRICS offers no collective security. China and Russia can't replace America's role. The Gulf relies on U.S. technology for its ambitious economic plans, especially in AI and cloud computing. Recent deals ensure American companies operate key tech infrastructure in the region, keeping U.S. oversight strong. The U.S. uses this technological leverage to set the rules. Gulf states must align with American standards to access the best tech. The relationship is shifting from oil for security to technology for alignment. The Gulf needs U.S. innovation to build its future. Even as the Gulf diversifies, the American partnership is an anchor it can't do without. The U.S. remains the indispensable partner, even in a multipolar world. The Gulf's foreign policy is all about hedging, maximizing autonomy by balancing East and West. They're not choosing between the US and BRICS, they're leveraging both. Economic diversification is the main driver. BRICS nations offer huge markets for non-oil industries. By engaging with BRICS, the Gulf secures future customers and investment, reducing dependence on slow-growing Western economies. Diplomatically, this gives the Gulf more leverage with all partners, including Washington. When the US makes demands, Gulf leaders can point to their alternatives. It's a balancing act, aligning with U.S. standards on tech security while keeping China as a major trade partner. BRICS is still mostly an economic form, not a security provider. The U.S. remains the go-to for hard power, while BRICS is a tool for growth and strategic balance. The Gulf strategy is pragmatic: use every available partnership to secure its future. This approach is redefining its role on the world stage. Despite frequent talk of a shifting world order and the rise of multipolarity, the ties between the United States and the Gulf remain deeply entrenched and more robust than ever, especially in the critical areas of defense, technology, and digital infrastructure. These connections are not just symbolic, they are woven into the very fabric of the region's security and progress. The U.S. continues to be the region's top arms supplier, with new deals worth over $100 billion binding Gulf militaries to American weapon systems and maintenance contracts for years to come. This reliance ensures that Gulf defense strategies are closely aligned with U.S. interests. These partnerships extend far beyond hardware. Joint military training, intelligence sharing, and coordinated security operations deepen the relationship, creating a level of trust and interdependence that is hard to replicate with other partners. In the realm of technology, the U.S. has recently lifted chip export controls for the UAE, granting access to advanced AI and semiconductor technology. However, this access comes with strict oversight and regulatory conditions, ensuring American standards and interests are maintained. American companies are at the forefront of building and operating the Gulf's new AI campuses, providing not just technology but also expertise and management. This ensures that the most sensitive and strategic tech remains under U.S. supervision. The digital economy here runs on U.S.-built cloud infrastructure, with American firms managing and securing the Gulf's most critical data centers. This digital backbone is essential for everything from finance to government services. As a result, Washington enjoys unique insight and influence over the region's digital future, shaping how data flows and how technology is deployed across the Gulf. Even as Gulf states seek to diversify their partnerships and attract new global players, their most vital systems, from security to digital infrastructure, remain fundamentally tied to the United States. The relationship is evolving, adapting to new realities. But the U.S. grip on the Gulf's security and technological landscape remains firm and unmistakable. The Gulf's future, its cities, its industries, its ambitions, is being built with American tools, expertise, and oversight at every step. While dependency has shifted from oil to technology, the underlying reality remains. The Gulf's progress is still deeply dependent on American innovation and support. The Gulf's new balancing act has global consequences. For the U.S., it means adapting to a world where its influence is no longer absolute. By shifting from oil to technology, America is anchoring its power in the industries of the future. For BRICS, Gulf engagement brings financial muscle and legitimacy, helping build an alternative economic system. For ordinary people, this could mean more stable energy prices as the Gulf manages relations with both East and West. But rising competition between the U.S. and BRICS, with the Gulf in the middle, also brings new risks. Trade disruptions or economic shocks could ripple worldwide. The biggest change: the world is moving from a US-centric model to a complex multipolar order. International cooperation may get harder as blocs compete for influence. The Gulf is now a key swing state in this new era. Understanding its role is crucial for navigating the uncertainties of the 21st century. The Gulf's future is about balance, not choosing sides. Expect deeper economic ties with BRICS and continued security and tech partnerships with the US. The dollar's dominance will erode slowly, not collapse. Gulf trade in local currencies will rise, but the dollar will remain central. BRICS must turn economic clout into real political influence, but internal divisions remain. The Gulf is now a power broker, not just a client. Its ability to manage US-China rivalry and deliver on reforms will shape the new global order. The world is watching as the Gulf's choices ripple across continents. The desert's decisions are helping write the next chapter of world history.